Hello, oven mavens. Welcome to the heart and soul of Quinty's Bakery. I am humbled by the presence of each and every one of you. Today, we embark on a delightful exploration of flavors as we unravel the intricacies of creating a delectable orange juice tin cake. So, gather around and immerse yourselves, guys, in the artistry of our today's baking session. You see this, it's so golden, it's really soft, it's delectable, it's yummy, it melts in your mouth unforgettably. You will live to remember this cake. Stick around and see how this is being done. If you have any questions whatsoever, please drop that comment in the comment section below. Now, let's begin by acquainting ourselves with the list of ingredients that will compose this delectable cake. We will be using some basic pantry staples like flour, sugar, salt, oil, baking powder, vanilla flavor, eggs, orange juice, 100% canned juice. And we are going to start by preheating our oven to 175 degrees Celsius to ensure it's nice and toasty when the cake goes in. While the oven works its magic, we will prepare our cake batter by mixing together our wet ingredients in a separate bowl. So we will start by whisking first the sugar and the eggs together in the bowl. When we combine eggs and sugar in baking, we are not just mixing ingredients. As we beat the eggs and sugar together, we are incorporating air into the mixture. This aeration process is key to achieving that light and this fluffy texture we all love in cakes, cookies, and other baked treats. But that's not all. As the sugar granules rub against the egg yolks, they help to break down the protein structure in the yolks, resulting in a smoother, more cohesive batter. The sugar also acts as a tenderizer, helping to soften the gluten strands in the flour. This leads to a more tender and moist finished product. So the next time you are whipping up a batch of your favorite baked goods, remember the importance of mixing eggs and sugar until they are fluffy and white as seen here. It's not just about creating a batter, it's about crafting a masterpiece of flavor and texture. After the egg and sugar mixture is fluffy and white as seen, you go ahead and add in your vanilla flavor and oil as seen. When it comes to baking, the way we handle our dry ingredients can significantly impact the texture and rise of our final product. Mixing our flour and baking powder separately before adding them to the wet ingredients may seem like an extra step, but guys, it's a game changer in the world of baking. Separating the flour and baking powder allows us to evenly distribute the leavening agent throughout the flour, ensuring that every bite of our baked cake or product or baked good is light, fluffy, and perfectly risen. Baking powder is what gives our cakes normally, or our muffins, eh, or quick breads, for example, their airy texture and delicate crumb. By mixing it evenly with flour, we prevent clumps of baking powder from forming in the batter, which can lead to uneven rising and dense spots in our baked treats. And it's also very important to sieve. You have to sieve your baking powder, your baking powder and flour mixture, and then after that, you just go ahead and pour in your orange juice. But that's not all. Over mixing our batter once the dry ingredients are added into the wet ingredients can spell disaster for our baked goods. When we overmix our batter, we risk developing too much gluten, resulting in tough, dense baked goods instead of light and tender ones. Gluten is protein found in flour already, we know, that gives baked goods structure, but too much of it can make them chewy and unappealing. So by mixing flour and baking powder separately and gently incorporating them into the wet ingredients with a sieve, we set ourselves up for baking success. We ensure that our baked goods rise evenly, have a tender texture, and are downright irresistible. Now, at this point, I am just mixing at the lowest speed, which is 1. Gradually mixing, and I didn't even mix for even up to 1 minute. Yeah, do not overmix. Then you take a spatula and give it one last gentle stir, and you were good to go. Oftentimes you wonder why some cakes are so soft, spongy, but then you use the same measurements, same recipe, same directions, and yours is so tender and chewy. Now you know what the secret is. I already started by giving you some tip at the beginning. All these explanations is not just to say, because it's very important when you are baking. This is what gives you that tender, downright irresistible cake. Okay, now here comes the fun part. After gently incorporating your dry ingredients into your wet ingredients and stirring them slowly, now we come with the silky smooth batter. It's important already not to overmix and all that. We just line our baking tin with a parchment paper. At this point, you just use oil to make sure that the corners of the tin are well oiled to avoid the cake from sticking. Line your batter, line the cake tin with the batter. Make sure it's well spread evenly before inserting it into the oven. So now it's time to pop our cake into the oven and let that magic happen. We will set our timer for around 30-35 minutes and let the sweet aroma of this orange infused goodness fill the air as our cake bakes to this golden perfection. Look at this, guys. Oh my goodness. My joy spread through the screen. Oh my god, this is so good. Like, why this cake was done, I was like, oh my goodness, everyone is going to love this. Everyone is going to love this. But wait, there's more. Before we dig in, or before I even cut, you have to let the cake to cool in the tin for like 5 minutes, allowing it to set and develop its flavors. Then you take it out of the tin, allow it to cool completely, because cake is best when it's cold, not hot. We don't eat hot cake. And there you have it, my highly esteemed oven mavens. This a mouth-watering orange juice scrumptious cake that's as beautiful as it is and very delicious. Whether you're celebrating a special occasion or simply indulging in a sweet treat, this cake is sure to delight your taste buds and leave you craving for more. And before I say goodbye, I want to extend my heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today on this baking session. Your support and enthusiasm mean the world to me, and I can't wait to see you back here in Quincy's Bakery for our next delicious creation or delicious baking session. Until then, keep spreading sweetness, sharing love, and baking up a storm. Happy baking!